Welcome back, everybody. My name is Poison Ducky, and this will be another Total War Warhammer 2 replay. Me playing as the zombie pirates versus the dastardly Lizardmen. Now, it's going to be an interesting matchup here as he brings a sort of air force, but let's start with my army showcase right off the bat. I'm going to have a front line of zombie pirate gunnery mobs. You know, they do the job. They'll hold the line. They won't die, at least for a while, and 2 units of handguns because you need that armor-piercing projectile damage against the Lizardmen. Very important. Along with a gunnery mob, just no armor-piercing in the center. I'm putting in the center because usually the center is where it breaks the first with Lizardmen because they just break right through with like either Croxagores or some sort of large dino. 1 cannon, and of course you need the halberds to defend the back line. Now, 1 unit of Night Terrors. I do like to bring them against Saurus because they're very effective against them unless they're like spear units. But usually you bring the normal Saurus, and with this unit having stock, they don't get skirmished by chameleon skinks very well. My leadership, as you saw earlier, was Luther Harkin, and I'm going to bring a Lore of the Deep vampire fleet captain. Usually, I understand Lore of Vampires is the better choice, but Lore of the Deep is just a fun thematic choice. The ROR, Rotting Promethean gunnery mobs, the Lamprey's Revenge. The only difference this one unit has is that it has regeneration, essentially making it nearly impossible to kill this in a fast manner. And that's pretty much my army. Very cut, very nice, very compact. My opponent, on the other hand, bringing the Tic-Tac-Toe Air Force, something you never expect. And something I never expect for sure. I haven't played Tic-Tac-Toe for quite some time. I only really bring them against the Vampire Counts. And the Lizardmen have an amazing matchup against the Vampire Counts, so you can bring them almost anything against the Vampires with Lizardmen and come out on top. So he's going to bring the Colossadon Hunters, which are the Ripper-Dactyl Rider ROR with anti-large. I actually really like that. And he's going to bring a huge fleet, an armada of Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas. So actually very effective against sort of infantry units, so, and especially if they regenerate, so an interesting choice, especially for the Lizardmen. Now the front line is just going to be some Saurus spears, which didn't I just say earlier that the Morngul Hunters are only really bad against spears? Well, he brought the spears, all of them with shields, along with a Skink Priest of Heavens on a Bastillodon, not a Bastillodon, a Stegodon, and a Bastillodon with a solar engine. So you really, this is an unorthodox build to be sure, but my build is a little more balanced and can deal with this rather easily. So let's see how my opponent deals with it. So I want to move forward here because I'm actually really not sure why I'm moving forward. I have the cannon pressure, but I am. Maybe I was not out. I was just out of range of hitting the Bastillodon with solar engine. But I realize now that I need to get all these guns firing at these Pterodons because they're going to deal some actually high amounts of damage to my units, and I need to be running. Luther Harkin is a powerful fighter, but he cannot take down Tic-Tac-Toe along with a unit of Colossadon Hunters. So I'm just going to move him back, make sure the guns use a screening, and I'm just going to be firing into these Ripper-Dactyls, all these Pterodon Riders. I'm pretty much saying if you're gonna come to me, I'm going to shoot you down for sure, and all while keeping my formation in a relatively nice, compact form. Now, opponent is dancing around here. He has the Bastillodon, so we do have sort of an artillery war, but my cannon is much more effective than a Bastillodon, at least at range, when it comes to killing large units. Now, I really like the models of the, look, I love how they have like gargoyles on top of the cannons and they have the moss and lichen. It's such a cool looking cannon, much cooler than other ones. And I'm going to be moving back the zombie pirate's halberds just in case he attempts to dive bomb my cannons. Now, some more gunfire going on as he attempts to swerve in and out, shooting his bolas. And these handgunners, while the armor piercing is not very useful since because these Pterodon Riders don't have any armor, but look at that dive bomb. It was so cool. This guy, he knows his memes. He's thrown down his little Fire Leech Bolas into me, but I have the guns, and the guns prove too effective against flying pterodactyls. An unfortunate turn of events for the Air Force, but he's keeping Tic-Tac-Toe and the Colossadon Hunters in reserve. Very good play there, and he has snuck 2 units of Fire Leech Bolas into the back, and I have no guns there as I move forward. The only thing I have is this 1 unit to sort of defend them, but they're going to actually go for the cannon, rendering my long range out of commission. So with that, I am going to push forwards with the zombie pirate deckhand mobs, really just so I can get the fight going here. It takes quite some time, and I'm going to mix them in with the Lamprey's Revenge because they just don't die. They really don't. With the Air Force being promptly shot at, it's going to be, oh, they're going to actually go into the Toad range using one of the abilities. It's one of the better abilities, I believe, increasing armor piercing and weapon damage, but making them go into a Rampage. And it turns out when you go Rampage into zombie pirate deckhand mobs, it's not the best trade for you, but he's chasing Luther Harkin. He's using the Curse of the Midnight Wind to try to catch up and get some good combat stats. And Tic-Tac-Toe is a lot better at fighting than you guys would think. He has some pretty good armor-piercing values at 413, and that's with no debuffs. And his speed is nothing to laugh at with at least 90 speed. So if he catches up to you along with the Colossal Hunters, I think he can easily beat Luther Harkin. But honestly, who lets Luther Harkin stay in engaged combat against something that can fight? He'll just fly away, shoot his pistol, cackle all the time, and be very happy while doing it. Now some gunline, he's diving into the halberds, which is not quite the right decision. And he's going to try to make it into my zombie pirate gunnery mob, which is the right place to go. You got to shut down the guns, but look at this concave line of just guns everywhere. Unfortunately, I did lose the cannons. They can't really do anything as they crumble away. And I just need to get rid of this sort of core of infantry, along with that monster and Bastillodon. And the Night Gold, like, look at this. You think this anti-infantry unit would be so amazing, but these spears, their anti-large bonus is actually devastating against my Night Terrors. Only 12 kills. That's pretty pitiful considering how expensive they are compared to Saurus spears. But, like I said, the Lamprey's Revenge, they take literally forever to die, taking very minimal damage and actually winning out in the trade because Lamprey's Revenge does have armor, a lot at 120, while Saurus Spears do not have the armor piercing. Now, if I didn't mention this earlier, this was another match that I played in the ECL qualifiers. My first opponent, I believe it was Clint Eastwood or something like some... It was a parody on the word Clint Eastwood, the actor, of course. Now, using the Lore of the Deep, I did bring the Lamprey's Revenge out here. I tried to look cool, try to explode, but it actually ended up hitting my own zombie pirate gunnery mod. I'm so sorry, little zombies. And of course, the duel between Luther Harkin and Tic-Tac-Toe does not go well because I have abilities to decrease his combat stat. If it's not going to be a taunt, it's going to be a Hornswaggle. Or a Power Siphon just to make sure his vigor is down. And overall, although this was not the closest of games, it's another game I wanted to showcase because it was a meme build, and it's just never be afraid to bring meme builds because they're fun. You may not win all the time, but it's definitely a spectacle to watch, especially an Air Force gets shot down by handguns. It's the magic of Total War. Now finally bringing in his Skink Priest into my Lamprey's Revenge. Actually, it does armor-piercing damage, and we'll be able to deal with the Crabos. The Tarabos have been like, they're finally losing. They're actually taking a lot of damage from the Stegodon, but they'll heal right up, especially with their innate regeneration. Now he's going to try to goon over my Vampire, but just Luther Harkin, the really amazing thing about him is that he shoots while on the move, so even though he might not catch you in melee, he's going to be shooting you the entire time. And Tic-Tac-Toe is just not going to survive this engagement. A good chomp from Luther, and unfortunately Tic-Tac-Toe falls. I'm going to get some nice gunfire into the Bastillodon. I really can't afford to have any more gunfire from him. His laser dino pew-pews must be stopped. And unfortunately, this will be the loss of the Lizardmen. Not a very close match, but for sure, but a very entertaining one for me. At least they have the Stegodon. Maybe he should have gotten the Stegodon into combat a little bit faster, because if he actually tried to rummage through my front lines, that's what I was expecting, to be completely honest. I was expecting like a huge dinosaur rush to go straight to my back line. That's what I usually go up against when I fight against. Or maybe a Salamander hunting pack spam. That one is definitely a strategy that some people bring. But yeah, I can summon Rotting Prometheans as they charge into the Saurus Spears. As stated earlier, they won't do very well because they're... Rotting Prometheus is probably one of the worst summons in the game, because for the small amount of time they are still in the game, they do so little damage. But yeah, GG to my enemy. I forgot it was... I know it was Clint something. Clint Beastwood, that's the name. But overall, yeah. Cannons did okay. Actually, the Rotting Prometheans did, like, 99 kills against Saurus. That's actually quite nice considering how they're anti-large. But of course the armor really helps out there. But I think the guns did like 99% of the damage right there, especially Luther Harkin. Luther Harkin plus guns killing all the Air Force. But overall, thank you for bringing an Air Force. I like the meme build. Memes are fun. And no one shame a person bringing a powered build at all. It's fun. It's in good fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you liked and subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you guys later.